Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Thamria. Welcome to GW2 commentary, and today we are going to cover the camera changes for GW2. With the new patch, they added some more features that you can do with the camera. As you can see, probably the camera looks a little weird. Colette is not centered at the camera. She's below the center point of the camera. If you consider this the center point, Colette is right here. And this is just the normal positioning that you would usually start with. And as you zoom in, you can tell she's lower to the camera, to the bottom of the screen than centered. And it is kind of looking weird, but it's alright, you can adjust that, and I'll show you how. And we'll play around with different features, different stuff, and mess around, and yeah, we'll make a fun commentary out of this. Sorry, no face cam, really didn't feel like including that. Anyway, let's begin. To open up the camera perspective, you go to options, and then you just simply go over here to camera, which is currently in beta because that's still tweaking it, still messing around with it, and it should be finalized by the time the expansion Heart of Thorns is out, which is pretty good. So developers of GW2, keep working at it, and let's make sure that the camera looks perfect. Alright, so what do we have here? I'm gonna put the camera tab on the side over here so we can see Colette in her nice, pretty mesmer self. Alright, what do we got here? We got rotation speed. This is gonna adjust how fast your camera actually rotates when you left click or when you right click and just move the camera. Right now, the sensitivity is real high, and that is insane. I'm not sure. Oh, it does actually. I can't tell if it adjusts the turning with WASD or like the AS or the AD, the keys. I don't think it's really adjust any of that, but I kind of like to keep mine pretty low so that I can have a nice smooth turning. If you like to have like really fast turning and you want to make sure you turn really fast in combat, then yeah, turn up the sensitivity. It's gonna help you out a lot. But if you prefer like a nice medium of like smooth between fast and it's kind of like it's all up to the speed of your hand. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much. My bad. So if you want to keep it around like nice medium level, I'll probably stick around here. It's a pretty good turning speed, so you don't have to move your wrist too much across the entire desk. But at the same time, not every tiny little moment is just gonna make the camera just like jump real fast like this. Like I'm hardly moving my wrist right now, and the camera is just like so shaky. I have to literally move by millimeter. And if you live in the US, that's like half of an inch. Yeah, it's that sensitive. So I'm just gonna keep it right here. Horizontal position, one of my favorite features so far, is where the camera is going to be, whether it's going to be a little to the right of the character or a little to the left of the character. And this is kind of cool in my opinion because it actually gives you this over-the-shoulder look. Well, with Colette's kind of difficult because she's short and all, but it gives you the shoulder look. Like, let's say when you play Skyrim or when you play Terra, you get this over-the-shoulder look of the character. You can choose whether to be on the right side or the left side, and honestly, I think it's kind of cool. And I like that they actually give you the mediums of, like, you can be at the center if you want and play like the regular MMO style, or you can be slightly to the side, so just change the perspective a little bit. It gives you this, like, I guess, Skyrim-ish Terra-like feel, maybe? I like that. I think that's actually really cool that they changed and they actually added this horizontal positioning camera so that like you can adjust the perspective slightly. At the same time, it makes the game look way different. Just a slight little change. I mean, this regular MMO style, this action MMO style, or this pretty much like Skyrim over the shoulder look. And honestly, it looks really cool. It makes sure you can see everything in here and you got your character right over here. Now, vertical position is not as jagged or like as high as, let's say, the horizontal position. Like, horizontal position makes quite a few gaps. Vertical position doesn't really do so. Like, I mean, I can go up and down, and you can just see very slight changes in horizontal position. It's more prompt once you're actually far away, but up close, it's not as prompt. Let's say I get like really close, and I just go up and down, up and down. You can hardly tell if it's even going down. From far away, you'll be able to tell because then the magnitude of the height is like definitely changes, so like it definitely makes a difference. I like to keep mine low simply because I want to just stay close to the character, and this is about what I currently like to have it at. Like vertical position all the way down, horizontal position slightly to the left. And if I really need to, I can just move it even more in case I'm like in a big battle or whatever. But with Colette being so tiny, I want to keep her a little close to the screen because she doesn't really take up any part of the screen. I can just, you know, run around and make sure I see everything as long as like the menu's not in the way. I can see the deer, I can see the mountains, I can see the fields, and I can just enjoy the game and, you know, not have the character stand right in the dead center of everything. Alright, next we got collision sensitivity. This slider adjusts the camera's ability to ignore collisions with objects. Note, moving the slider to the right may negatively impact performance. Now this, I'm not 200% sure what this is all about. My guess is it's all about the collision with like the ground, collision with the mountains, collision with the trees. It's gonna adjust all that, and it's gonna, I don't know, it's something you're gonna have to mess around with, but it's all about the collision of the camera with objects. If you move to the right, it may give you some smoother performance and some smoother collision detection. So the camera kind of zooms in whenever you're close to an object or whatever, like this. See, like I turn the camera a little, and then as soon as I get right behind the tree, the camera zooms in. And it gets you slight better performance with that, but I just keep mine down because honestly, I just want to make sure that I have nice frames, and I don't care how jagged the zoom in of the camera really is, because I have no problem being disoriented. They probably added this feature so that less people can be disoriented in case they have like a vision problem, and this may help them see a little bit better or adjust their eyes to changing of the camera a little, which is why I think they added a feature. But for me, it's not that bad. I mean, I don't really have any vision problems except, you know, have bad eyesight, but that's about it. Context fix that. Zoom sensitivity. Now this is something that I really enjoy. You can either have zoom sensitivity be really low, so that you can just like, you know, zoom out very slowly, zoom out real fast, so you can be a little bit more accurate on how much more zoom out, or you can have it all the way up, where if you really need to tell between like where you're at, let's say you're up close like this, and then you want to zoom out and see some things from far away and just change the zoom out as fast as possible, then that's something you could do. Let me turn off first person camera for now, because we're gonna play with that a little later. I like to keep mine at around like nice little zoom sensitivity like this, so that I can adjust the camera when I need to, and it doesn't just like jump jaggedly between like really close and real far away like it does like this. So it's like a nice little medium. I like it like that. Like, so I can just adjust it a little bit, just a couple of scrolls up and down. It's not that bad. It's actually very nice. And then we got the field of view. Now this, giving you a warning, this is going to look extremely weird when I start playing around with this. This is what the lowest field of view looks like. This is up close. Now this is like all the way zoomed into the head and looking almost from the perspective of Colette's head. And as we zoom out and zoom in, we can just get slight perspective change. And now let's go ahead and widen our field of view. Now we can see a little bit more of our surroundings. Your frames will definitely drop from that, because it's like you have like a fisheye lens look of the world. It looks really cool if you enjoy this kind of view and if your computer can run something like that. But for me, as I'm recording, when I look in like this direction or something, for me right now the frames, as you can see, are dropping like to 23, 24, mostly because I'm recording and it's just like having a difficulty recording with Fraps, since Fraps uses CPU. But overall, it actually looks extremely nice and pretty, and if I were to turn off Fraps, it probably would look gorgeous and beautiful, and having this kind of fisheye lens perspective view would look really cool, and would be like, I guess it's like, it lets you absorb more of the environment around you. But for now, I kind of just like to keep it at like at a nice level like this, so I can just, you know, pay attention better to my surroundings over here, like a deer, or the Seraph Soldier, or the mountains, or the raccoon over here. Hello, Mr. Raccoon, how are you doing? I have a little pet too. He's like a weird pineapple tentacle thing. But yeah, it's just like, the field of view, you can mess around with it and make sure you get it perfectly adjusted to how you want to be able to absorb the world and see the world. And I think this feature is actually really cool. It allows the player to customize what they want to see and how much of beauty they want to take in this world, because Guild Wars 2 is a really beautiful game. It's a really pretty game, and you can either be kind of locked in at your target and have this kind of like a, I guess, limited vision but more of a focus, tunnel vision kind of view, or you can have the big open view where you can see gorgeous mountains, the gorgeous skies, everything, just everything looks beautiful. But that will impact your performance, so I like to keep mine around like nice level like this, so I can, you know, pay attention to things but also know what's going on around me. Now, they do have the still features of invert camera, Y angle if you want to do that, camera shake whenever there's something shaking or when there's motion sickness or whatever. You can turn it off if you want them. Use free camera prevents the camera from realigning behind your character. Use mouse steer to reset the camera. It's something for you to mess around with if you want to. I don't really care much for it. I don't really mess around with it as much as possible. And then we got the enable first person camera. This is not recommended for combat, PvP, or world versus world, but this is honestly is. Oh, we can also adjust the camera to camera to character height. I'm gonna go with that, but first let's go over to first person camera. First person camera is simply you get in a perspective of your character's height. And as you can see, compared to this pineapple thing, Colette is pretty short. When we go to first person camera, we pretty much take on the perspective of Colette the Wise. Wherever we turn, that's where Colette's gonna turn. Wherever we go, Colette's gonna go there. And we simply see from the eyes of Colette the Wise, from her height, from her perspective, we just see everything that she sees. And yes, this is literally perspective of Colette the Wise. This is how short Asurans are. And it will depend, like, the camera will change, the first person perspective will change according to the height of your character because it aligns to the head of the character. So let's say I'm about maybe up to the waist of this person, and when we zoom out, you can tell that Colette's about to the waist of this character. It's slightly higher than the head, but it's not that much of a difference that it like would make it seem like it's not really a first person perspective. It really is a first person perspective. Also, here's a cool little thing that you can do in case you want to take screenshots or want to take maybe like rap videos or want to make movies or whatever, or pretty much take screenshots. If you press Control Shift H, it will hide the HUD. Remember, Control Shift H, not H, my bad. So remember, hold down Control, hold down Shift, hold down H, or press H, and then you get first person perspective. This first person perspective will hide the HUD. Probably most of you players already know about it. I recently learned about it and thought this would work really well with a first person view because you could like take a nice screenshot of this. I could probably take a screenshot of this right now. There we go. Screenshot taken, and it's gonna go to my folder in Guild Wars 2 somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where. It's gonna go to user documents, Guild Wars 2 screens, and it's gonna go there if you like check it out. You can adjust the folder somewhere in the settings, I'm pretty sure of it, or it will just create a default Guild Wars 2 screens folder for you to mess around with, and then you can take screenshots, upload them to social media, share with friends, do whatever you want with it, or just, I don't know, do nothing with it. Now, let's go back to the camera options and check out the last feature, adjust camera to character height. Now this will plant the camera to character's height like it originally was in Guild Wars 2, which is something I personally enjoy. I want to make sure that I'm able to see Colette from her height and make sure to see things. Now we could probably also add the field of view slightly more. We could probably even raise the vertical collision to be slightly higher so you can see a little bit of more than just the ground. The trouble is with camera to character height is that it pretty much plants you to the height of the character. So if your character is tall, you make him tall. If your character is short, low to the ground, it will make him short, low to the ground, and it will pretty much show more of the ground than anything else since you're short. It's a nice little perspective, a nice little view, and honestly, I don't mind it whatsoever. I actually rather stick to Colette's height as best as possible so I can see more things around it and kind of be immersed into the world that Colette sees. I see what Colette sees, and honestly, that is probably one of the coolest experiences you could ever have in this game. Now, I'm not sure if in first-person perspective, the adjustment to height will snap the first-person camera to her height. Oh, it does. Never mind then. So now you can see things from an even shorter angle. Now, this is probably the most accurate perspective of Colette the Wise and any Asuran out there. So now you can see a little deer, and they're bigger than you. So, you know, you can just be like, "Hi, deer. How's it going?" And look at the deer, the pretty, I guess, fur, mane thing, fur. I guess a fur. Since, you know, they're not really like feral animals that wouldn't really have a mane, or they're not wolves with a mane. And we got here Breck-a-Breck, and as you can see, we are slightly shorter than Breck-a-Breck, and from first person perspective, we can get a nice look at the world around us and actually see things up close, which honestly, first person perspective is the biggest rave of Guild Wars 2. I think it's actually a pretty cool feature. I'm not sure how useful it is going to be for, let's say, like just adventure around the world, but if you're leveling Guild Wars 2 and you kind of just want to simply, you know, just run around adventure when you're going from checkpoint to checkpoint, you can press Control Shift H, go to first person perspective, and simply just absorb the world around you. And sometimes just stop right here in the middle of nowhere and take a nice little screenshot to save later in your save folder, which is going to be in Documents, Guild Wars 2 Screens. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I am really enjoying the camera. Let me know how you like to have your camera. Do you like the first person perspective? Would you like to see first person perspective get upgraded so you can see like your hands in battle? Because right now, as of certain, first person perspective only does the eye perspective. It doesn't allow you to actually see your character cast abilities except like this. And there is some head shaking happening from time to time, and it does look cool, but it's kind of disorienting when it comes to you battling enemies. So let's say I want to push the deer away. the camera just shakes violently. It's really hard to tell where things are. So maybe eventually, maybe soon, they might add a feature where you can actually see your character's hands. The shaking of the camera is not as bad, and maybe we might just be able to pretty much be the character that we're playing and actually see the abilities and actions that it take. So when they roll, the actual roll, and we'll see them roll, because right now when I roll, it really does nothing. But when I'm doing like crazy abilities, like this kind of abilities, the camera is just shaking all over the place, and it's really disorienting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the camera, how you're gonna mess around with it, and whether you like the first person perspective, and whether you would like to see it get better, and how you'd like to see it get better. Maybe you can add like new features and stuff. Anyway, my name is Damriel. Like, subscribe, and as always, have a great day. See ya!